Good afternoon, everybody. It's wonderful to be here, and it's actually wonderful to be in such a large room. I want to thank Wayne State University and President Gilmore for hosting us, and I want to thank Cam Davis, my extraordinary senior advisor on the Great Lakes, for that lovely introduction. I have to acknowledge the speakers after me because they are people I've heard about for such a long time, whether that's Frank Edowagishik, the past chair of the Little Traverse Band of Odawa Indians and executive director of the United Tribes of Michigan, and Faye Nelson, who I just had a wonderful conversation talking about the extraordinary powers of urban waters to United Community, president and CEO of the Detroit Riverfront Conservancy. And to all of you that are part of the Healing Our Waters Coalition, a very special apology and thanks. I'm really sorry I can't be with you this evening. It's probably better for the standpoint of your personal health because I'm carrying a pretty significant bug, but I do want you to know that the energy of this day coming together to heal our Great Lakes is also very healing for me as well, and I would not have missed it. So thank you so much for the constructive work and hard work you're putting into the Great Lakes Restoration Initiative each and every day. Now, thank you to all of you who are literally taking action together. This week is the first time that so many regional leaders and leading organizations have gotten together in one place at one time to show support for this effort and our shared dedication for getting results for the Great Lakes. That is a dedication shared by me and my colleagues across the federal government, and of course, by President Obama. Having lived and worked and started a family near the shores of Lake Michigan, President Obama has been a longtime advocate for protecting the Great Lakes. He knows how important they are to the region, and as the home of about 95% of our nation's fresh surface water, how important they are to the entire United States. As president, his advocacy for these waters has actually only grown. He has turned the resources of multiple federal agencies towards setting a new standard of care for these waters, and that's happening in partnership with all of you. It's also no surprise that we are in Detroit today. How about those lions? Wait, and tigers. This is a place that has earned its history of success and seen its share of challenges over the year. This city and its many industries rose up around the meeting of Lake Huron and the Detroit River, with Lake Erie just downstream. Decades of building warehouses and factories and parking lots right up to the water's edge meant that people were disconnected from their waterfront. Years of pollution posed serious threats to both the immediate and long-term health of local waters. That is, until visionaries like then City Councilman and Council President Carl Levin, and more recently Faye Nelson, along with many others, decided it was time to bring the waterfront back. Foot by foot, yard by yard, gallon by gallon, the Detroit River and its shoreline has been restored for this community. We are seeing today that urban renewal and community revitalization can literally begin with renewing riverfronts, with renewing harbors and lakefronts, as well as the waters that they connect us to. Now that fight to bring back the riverfront here isn't so different from what we are working to accomplish throughout the Great Lakes system. Acre by acre, mile by mile, you are all taking steps to ensure these magnificent water bodies are pulled back from the brink. And that was the thinking when President Obama unveiled his Great Lakes Restoration Initiative a little more than 2 years ago. We have the vision for what we want our coastal parks and cities and open waters to be. Now, it is a matter of dedicating resources and work to turn vision into a reality. Just last year, we joined several of the Great Lakes governors to release our 16-agency action plan. Under that plan, I'm proud to say, and pretty amazing when you consider that last year was really the first full year when we had a season in the field, but we're already showing results. At the Shiawassee Flats, just north of here, fish and wildlife habitat are coming back after decades of losses. that will help improve water quality, reduce flooding, and support this region's proud and rich outdoor heritage. At Chicago's beaches, swimming bans and advisories are at a 5-year low. And after more than 2 decades of frustratingly slow progress, we're investing in Great Lakes Restoration Initiative projects in toxic hotspot areas of concern. We're laying the groundwork for places like White Lake and River Raisin right here in Michigan, Sheboygan River and Harbor in Wisconsin, the H.O.W. River in Ohio, all of which will ultimately be taken off the cleanup list. People have spent their entire careers trying to check these communities off the list of places plagued by pollution. It's not a list anyone wants to be on. We're taking steps and getting results. Again, thanks to you. Now, this, of course, is just the beginning. We have a long way to go. To help guide the work, I'm proud to announce today, on behalf of the Federal Interagency Task Force for the Great Lakes, our key priorities for 2012 and 2013. While continuing to plan for rapid responses, we must step up our efforts to prevent invasive species from entering the Great Lakes. We know that prevention is far more cost-effective than dealing with the damage that has already been done. I think I should have said, you know. With record-setting harmful algae levels occurring in parts of the Great Lakes, we are focusing resources on reducing phosphorus to the watersheds of Ohio's Maumee River, Michigan's Saginaw River, and Wisconsin's Lower Fox River. And we are making it a priority to finish the job in 2013 through 2014 at Deer Lake, Manistee River, St. Clair River, St. Mary's River, and the Waukegan Harbor areas of concern. We want to check them off the list too. On that last point of cleaning up areas of concern, we are asking for greater assistance from all of you here today. The Restoration Initiative can offer up to 65% federal funding to clean up remaining toxic hotspots, but the balance must come from somewhere. This week, in conjunction with the Great Lakes Commission, we're releasing a brochure to show how the rest of the financing can work. You don't have to be a public finance expert to take a copy and begin promoting this important program, because it's key to more progress in our areas of concern. And I want to say a special thanks to Jim Tierney from New York State DEC, who chairs the Great Lakes Commission and has been so helpful in that work. Coming together to address those areas of concern is a perfect example of the spirit and letter of taking action together. And I look forward to working on all of those priorities with you. Now, since the beginning of the administration, President Obama has made restoring our nation's waters a top priority. It's an issue that's kept a lot of us busy for the last 2 years, on everything from Recovery Act investments to the historic restoration efforts on treasured water bodies to the work we are doing through this Great Lakes Restoration Initiative. There's other efforts, though, that are very important, like the America's Great Outdoors Partnership and the Urban Waters Federal Partnership, which are supporting important steps to keep America's waterways clean and safe. Even some of our air programs are essential to the work. I'm sure many of you saw the recent report from the Great Lakes Commission that looked closely at mercury in the lakes. After taking more than 45,000 samples from fish, birds, and other wildlife in 35 separate studies, they found that not only is mercury more widespread than they thought, but also that levels have been rising in some species. EPA has proposed the first ever mercury and air toxic standards for power plants, which will help significantly reduce the amount of mercury that is released into our air and makes its ways into our country's waters. EPA is committed to finalizing those standards because it will clean up the air we breathe. It will benefit the health of our children, and because it will help reduce the mercury in our environment that pollutes our beloved Great Lakes. These waters are working harder than ever before. Some 42 million Americans and Canadians depend on the Great Lakes for drinking water. And the water support, at least, I think this number is low, 1.5 million jobs and $62 billion in wages annually. For the Great Lakes to continue to take care of us, we need to take care of them. Thank you so much for allowing me to address you, but more importantly, for coming together this week under the banner of taking action together to do just that. Thanks.